I just found the most painfully relatable Reddit story of this year. Alright, am I the asshole for refusing to pay my girlfriend's plane ticket after she decided to stay longer on her trip without me? Here's the deal. My 28-year-old girlfriend of 2 years and I, being 29 years old, planned a 2-week vacation to Italy. I paid for everything from flights to hotels because I make more money than she does and I wanted it to be stress-free. Everything was great until the last day. She told me she wanted to stay longer to find herself and think about our relationship without me. She never discussed this with me beforehand, completely blindsiding me. I was hurt and I told her that if she needed time alone, she should also handle the finances for the extension. I said I wouldn't pay for her new return ticket. Now she's upset, calling me unsupportive and selfish. Some friends say I'm an a-hole for leaving her stranded in a foreign country without financial help. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for her new plane ticket after she chose to extend her trip without consulting me? There's an update to this story. Thanks to everyone who responded, especially those who helped me feel less like the bad guy. I've realized how good my girlfriend was at making me feel like unreasonable things were normal. Here's the update. We're both back in the US now, and she's packing her stuff to stay with family until she finds a new place. I went to the airport alone because I always arrived early, and I didn't trust myself not to break down emotionally. As I waited, my girlfriend showed up, thinking I was bluffing. She had a rude awakening when the hotel staff kicked her out of the room since I'd only paid through the last day. She had not thought about where to stay. While at the airport, she admitted she met someone in Italy. She claimed it was just a physical attraction and nothing happened. However, she had her contact information and wanted to see where it could go. This hurt deeply. I stayed in one night because I wasn't feeling well, and she went out with him and met him. I told her we were done. Whether or not she was truthful about nothing happening, I no longer trust her and I don't want to be with someone who keeps her options open in a 2-year monogamous relationship. The flight home was awkward and she tried to convince me to stay together during the drive from the airport. Reality seemed to hit her hard. Now, I'm jet-lagged and emotionally drained. I'm just numb. Now, let's see what Reddit has to say about this story. People overwhelmingly agreed that the poster was right. A commenter said, she can find herself on her dime. They feel like the poster should not have been expected to fund her independent decision. A lot of comments focused on the girlfriend's actions. One person pointed out she chose not to use the ticket that was already bought. She was fully responsible for the choice to stay behind, and she should figure things out on her own. Finally, some users were supportive of the decision to stand firm. You've already been generous, don't let her guilt trip you into thinking otherwise. And now let's reveal the final decision of the Reddit users. According to the comments, was the poster right or wrong? The comments were clear. 90% of people were on the poster side. They felt like the girlfriend made a selfish decision and should have been responsible for her own actions. Only 10% felt that the girlfriend should have been supported and helped with the return ticket. What do you think? And what would you have done in such a situation? Let us know in the comments. I think I just found the most shocking couple story on Reddit. Alright, here's a story about a husband who has a wife about to give birth to twins, but he also has a work presentation. Does he do the right thing? Alright, here's a not too common situation. Someone asking, am I the asshole for leaving during my wife's labor? Let's find out. My wife went into labor around 6 p.m. on a Sunday. We were expecting twins. It quickly became a very painful process. She kept cutting off the blood flow to my hand when she squeezed and nearly sprayed my shirt with vomit. Around 3 a.m., my dad called. I work for his company, and we had a presentation for clients on Monday morning that I had to prepare for. My dad knew that my wife was in labor, but he said I needed to rest for the meeting. He told me there was nothing I could do to help her, and that delivering the baby was overrated and not what people expected. The labor was progressing slowly, and we all thought she would need forceps or other assistance to deliver. I realized I couldn't help her, and my dad needed me. So I told my wife, I have to leave. She screamed at me so loudly, a few nurses rushed over. I ended up doing the presentation and it went well. Afterward, I saw text saying my wife delivered an hour ago at 10:30 a.m. They had to use forceps. I would have missed the meeting had I stayed. My dad has done everything for me, so I didn't want to let him down. Now my wife is still yelling at me. Saying she was alone when they destroyed her body. She even said her family would disown her if she divorced me, but that she doesn't consider me her husband right now. It's not going to be shocking, I guess, but let's see what Reddit commenters have to say. Emotional support and responsibility. People were furious about the lack of emotional support. You could have stayed and provided comfort even if you didn't physically help, one commenter said. It was clear that being there for your partner, especially during such a vulnerable time, was a huge part of what most people expected. The second biggest issue that people had was his clear choice to put work over family. Many people felt like he did this at the worst possible time. Work should never come before your wife and your children, others said. This move did not sit well with many people. A lot of commenters warned that this could ruin the relationship. One said, "If I were her, I'd be filing for divorce right then and there. It's hard for me to imagine how marriage can survive something like this without serious consequences." And now let's reveal the opinion of the internet. All right, here are the numbers. Based on the comments, about 80% of people think the husband was completely wrong. Many called him out for abandoning his wife, and only 15% of people felt like it was not such a big deal. Some even said he had to work. The majority of people think that family should come first, no matter the career demands. Did this story make you think twice about your priorities? Comment down below what you think. This story is about a couple's dream vacation gone wrong when the boyfriend has a good prank at the security. You will not believe what happens next. Here's the story. Someone on Reddit asks, "Am I the asshole for leaving my boyfriend at the airport after he pranked the TSA? Hi everyone, I'm a 20-year-old female and I could use some outside perspective on whether I was too harsh on my boyfriend, who's 29, because of a recent incident. My boyfriend loves practical jokes, and while some are genuinely funny, others can be a bit too much. For example, he once switched all of my skincare products with mayonnaise, and another time, he filled my car with balloons. It's usually all in good fun, but sometimes it goes a bit too far. We had planned an amazing vacation to the Caribbean, something I'd been looking forward to for months, and everything was going smoothly until we got to the airport. Right before going through security, my boyfriend thought it would be hilarious to pull another prank. This time, he pretended to have something unusual in his pants. As you can imagine, the security scanners picked up on something odd, and he was pulled aside for a pat-down. When the TSA agents asked if he was carrying anything that he shouldn't be, he made an inappropriate comment in what he thought was a funny tone. Everyone turned to look at us, and the situation became awkward. Then, he revealed the object and made another joke about it. The TSA did not find it funny. Both of us were taken to a back room and questioned for over an hour. The situation caused us to miss our flight, and the agents gave us a stern lecture on security and appropriateness. I was so upset and embarrassed by the whole ordeal, I decided I couldn't handle going on vacation anymore. Instead of waiting for the next available flights, I just went home. My boyfriend was annoyed and said I was overreacting. It was just a joke, and we could catch another flight. However, I felt the prank crossed the line, especially considering the setting and the stress that it caused. So Reddit, am I the asshole for deciding to go home and miss on our vacation because I couldn't deal with another potential joke or embarrassment? Let me know what you think. All right, let's see what Reddit has to say about this one. A lot of people think that the boyfriend's prank was way out of line. They say it's childish and completely inappropriate, especially in an airport where security is taken very seriously. One commenter said, "Your boyfriend sounds like a 16-year-old. Some commenters feel that this kind of behavior could cause serious problems later on. He could get arrested or even lose his job. He's unstable, he's insane, and that's not funny. You can see why they're worried this could have more severe consequences." The pranks themselves, well, people aren't too impressed, especially when it comes to messing with somebody's skincare products. A lot of people pointed out how disrespectful and potentially harmful that could be. They said things like, "Messing with things people put on their body is assaultive behavior." And now, onto the reveal. Was the boyfriend right or wrong? About 90% of people agree that the boyfriend went too far. Most people think this prank is childish and disrespectful. Only 10% of people feel like the girlfriend overreacted and should have let it go. The overwhelming majority are on her side, saying she had the right to leave. What do you think? Was the boyfriend right or wrong? Did he go too far? Let us know in the comments. Today's story is about a couple with trust issues and a shocking twist with a fake therapist. Stay tuned. Am I the asshole for blowing up at my girlfriend after therapy backfired? I'm a 28-year-old man, and my girlfriend Emma, 27 years old, We've been together for 6 years. Most of that time, we've been really happy. Over the past year, things have started to feel different. Small arguments, miscommunications, and a sense that we're just not as in sync as before. Emma seemed more concerned than I was, pointing out issues like me not listening enough or being emotionally unavailable. I've been busy with work, but I thought we were okay. Still, I didn't want to dismiss her feelings. 6 months ago, she suggested couples therapy. I was skeptical, but agreed since it couldn't hurt. Emma found a therapist, her name was Lily, through a friend, and we booked our first session. Initially, the therapy seemed fine. Lily asked good questions, gave tools to improve communication, but I noticed a pattern. Every issue seemed to circle back to how I was falling short. If I brought up the stress from work, the focus shifted to how I wasn't giving Emma enough attention. Emma began using phrases like Lily thinks you should or Lily says, and that made me feel quite analyzed. I started questioning myself. Was I the problem? Despite trying to push through, things worsened. A few weeks ago, during a session, Lily suggested we consider a break so that I could work on myself. I was stunned. I looked to Emma for support, but she just nodded along. When we got home, I blew up. I told Emma I did not trust Lily's judgments, and I felt like therapy was being used against me. Emma got defensive, insisting Lily was helping. After days of silence, I began doubting myself again. But then, something happened that changed everything. At a party last week, I overheard Emma and her friend Sarah giggling. Sarah said, "I can't believe you pulled it off for so long. Poor guy, he still thinks she's an actual therapist." Confronting them revealed the truth. Lily was not a licensed therapist. She was one of Emma's college friends, posing as a therapist to help fix me. Turns out Emma thought I wouldn't agree to real therapy. I was devastated for months. I had poured my heart out to someone unqualified, all while being manipulated. Emma admitted she never meant to hurt me. She only wanted to help us grow. But I felt betrayed. The majority of people sided with the poster. They said Emma's actions were a betrayal. One commenter summed it up perfectly. "That's a huge betrayal. I'd never trust her again." A smaller group understood Emma's intentions. One person said, "She probably thought she was helping, but this was just wrong." Some people were split on whether therapy could have worked if done properly, but almost everyone agreed deception in a relationship is just never the right way forward. Let's reveal the opinion of the internet. So what do the numbers say? 75% of the comments are in John's corner. They call Emma's actions manipulative and a clear betrayal. 25% thought Emma's intentions were good, but misguided. It's clear that the majority think trust was completely broken here, and that's not easy to fix. What do you think? Could you forgive someone who does something like this? Let us know in the comments. Hi everyone. Do you have a neighbor who pushes your boundaries sometimes? This story will leave you amazed. All right, here's the story. Someone's asking, am I the asshole for refusing to let a Karen neighbor use my pool when she demanded I follow her pool rules? I, a 34-year-old male, living in a suburban neighborhood with a decent-sized backyard and a pool, I've always been friendly with my neighbors, including a Karen, mid-40s female, who moved in next door about a year ago. She seemed nice at first, but over time, her behavior changed. Over the summer, Karen, might be her actual name, started coming over with their kids, asking if they could use the pool. At first I didn't mind, but soon she began showing up unannounced, even when I wasn't home. One day, I came home and found her and several friends hosting a party in my backyard. I confronted her and she just casually shrugged it off, saying, "You weren't using it, so I thought it was fine." I told her to ask first and she reluctantly agreed. Then, last week, she showed up at my door with a typed list of pool rules that she wanted me to follow, including no swimming after 5 p.m. because her kids have a strict bedtime. No loud music when her family is outside. Mandatory weekend access for her family, but only for them. I laughed, thinking she was joking, but she was dead serious. Of course, I refused to follow her rules, and she got angry. She called me selfish and ruined the neighborhood spirit. Now she's been spreading rumors, and some neighbors say I should let it go to avoid drama. But it's my pool, and she's acting like she owns it. There's a quick update to the story. Just to clarify, my backyard fence did not have a lock before. I've just installed one after some advice, and I already set up a camera, though it's not directionally focused at the pool. I installed a keypad lock on the fence to avoid another awkward conversation. Karen noticed immediately and was furious, calling me dramatic and accusing me of locking out the neighborhood kids. She wanted to know why I couldn't just let them use the pool like before. I told her I wanted control over who used my pool. It's my backyard, not a community park. I feel much better with the lock in place. It's awkward with Karen, but I'd rather have that than treat my backyard like a public pool. Thanks for all the support. All right, let's see what Reddit has to say. Many people agree that Karen went way too far by trying to take control of the man's pool. One commenter said, it's his property and she should respect his rules. She had no right to assume she could use it whenever she wanted. Some people gave advice on handling awkward situations. You've done enough. Don't let her walk all over you. It's your pool and your rules. Some people had mixed feelings. One person said, I get why he did it, but it could have grown the tension. Now let's reveal the opinion of the internet. A whopping 80% of the comments are siding with the man, agreeing that Karen was way out of line and he had every right to refuse her demands. 20% feel that installing the lock might have been a step too far. What do you think? Do you have a pool? Would you let your neighbors use it as if it's communal? Behind this card is one of the most boundary testing stories on Reddit I found. Today we're exploring a story about boundaries and how to get people to respect them. Let's dive in. Am I the asshole for locking my girlfriend out of the basement so I could eat in peace? I'm a 39-year-old male and my girlfriend is 41 years old. We lived together for a bit over a year in my house, and during this time, I've gotten used to her de-stressing by complaining. Much of this is about other people in her life, such as her mother, former coworkers, but it's mostly about me and how I'm not meeting her expectations. I'm fine listening to her. A few months ago, her complaints became a lot more frequent. I don't mind, but one time I don't want to listen is when I'm eating. Breakfast isn't an issue because she's still asleep. And lunch is fine since I work 6 days a week and eat out. But I enjoy a quiet dinner. It's especially irritating when she gets upset if I don't answer her quickly while I'm chewing. She'll say, hello, hello. Are you even listening? As I try to swallow my food quickly and answer. I brought this up a few months ago, explaining that I don't do well with talking during mealtime. If anything, it has the opposite effect. Now, it seems like she times her complaints to start right when I begin eating. While I'm making my dinner, she's quiet, but as soon as I sit down and take my first bite, she starts complaining. Last Saturday, I told her I could not deal with her complaining anymore, and that if it happened again, I would eat elsewhere. She responded, okay, fine. Then, as I took my first bite, she said, oh, by the way, today you kicked one of my shoes while you were putting yours on. It made me feel like you only care about your things and not mine. I stood up, went to the basement to eat, and locked the door behind me. I've done this every day since, and she'll sometimes bang on the door. Other times she demands I give her a key since I have the only one. Today she was crying and begging me to eat at the table, but I said no. Now she's threatening to take the door off its hinges while I'm at work, so that I'll have to lock it from the outside before going tomorrow. Am I in the wrong here? Let's see what Reddit commenters had to say. Abusive behavior. Many viewers are shocked by the girlfriend's actions. One comment reads, a partner who constantly complains and creates tension is emotionally abusive. They're suggesting her behavior crosses a line. Advice to leave. The majority of comments recommend that the man should leave the relationship. One user says, if your partner is threatening to take the door off, it's time to leave. Understanding his reaction, there's a few people that disagree. They say, he could have talked to her before locking the door, but I get why he snapped. And now, the opinion of the internet. Let's talk numbers. Based on the comments, about 85% of people agree that the girlfriend's behavior is way out of line. Most think the guy should leave her, and some even suggest he should take legal steps if things arise. On the other hand, 10 to 15% believe the man could have handled things better. Have you ever been in a situation like this? What would you have done? Let us know in the comments. I think I just found the most heated vacation story of Reddit. Stay tuned for more. There were bikinis, and then there was her bikini. You want to know how this story goes? Let's go. Someone on Reddit asks, am I the asshole for talking to a girl in a bikini on a beach? My wife, who's 35 years old, is making me, I'm 37, write this post. She feels my behavior on our vacation was inappropriate, while I believe it was acceptable. She loves this subreddit and wants your opinion to settle our debates. We've been married for 7 years and we have a 3-year-old child. A few weeks ago, we went to Miami. On the second day, my wife was sunbathing while I played with our son. He wanted to build a sandcastle, so we went to the wet sand near the water. While he was playing, a woman around her mid-30s approached us. She complimented my son and made some small talk. We chatted briefly about where we were from and our time in Miami. After about 10 minutes, my son was ready to head back. So I said goodbye and I returned to my wife. My wife was upset. She noted how revealing the woman's bikini was, and she felt she was trying to flirt with me. I reassured her it was harmless conversation. Our son often attracts attention from moms, and my wife has seen it happen without any issues. But this time, she argued, it was different because of the woman's outfit. She said that, as a married man, I should avoid talking to women who are dressed like that. We saw the woman a few more times at the resort, and I kept any interactions brief. My wife insists that I should recognize the difference between casual settings on the one hand and talking to someone in a bikini on the beach. I feel like polite conversation is acceptable, regardless of the outfit. So Reddit, is my wife right to be upset, or is she being unfair? Here's an edit from the wife. He left out some key details. The woman was leaning too close and kept appearing at the resort, always trying to talk to him, but never once speaking to me, which felt disrespectful. I'm not saying my husband was flirting, but he could have picked up on her body language and cut it short. There were bikinis, and then there were her bikini something or whatever. All right, let's take a look at what Reddit has to say. A lot of comments focused on trust and boundaries. Many said trust is key. A simple chat shouldn't hurt your marriage, and they felt it was not a big deal. Others said the setting was important. The beach is a relaxed place. One commenter said, stressing that it's natural to have a casual conversation without thinking anything of it. But there were also comments saying that communication is crucial. A few viewers said they need to talk about their feelings more clearly, pointing out that the wife probably felt disrespected, even if the husband didn't mean any harm. And now, let's reveal the opinion of Reddit. About 60% of people supported the husband. They said he acted reasonably and the conversation was innocent. About 30% of people sided with the wife. They felt like talking to the woman in that setting was inappropriate. Who do you side with, the husband or the wife? Let us know in the comments down below. At the end of this story, you'll find out how leftover food can cause some serious drama. Let's go. Am I the asshole because I took all of the leftover food after a work party? I've worked at this company for 3 years. And my 3-year anniversary aligns with my significant others proposing and with me getting promoted. I expected at least something from my coworkers, small party gifts, nothing fancy. I was pretty hurt when I came in that week and found nothing at all. There were some congratulations and well wishes, but that was it. I later poured my heart out to my significant other, expressing how uncared for I felt. He contacted one of my coworkers, who was soon to be my employee, and she went to my manager to set something up. They had a little buffet in the break room with the usual veggie platter, dips, chips, cookies, tarts, brownies, and some banners. At the end of the day, I took the leftovers home along with the plates and Tupperware they came in. The coworker texted me the next day asking if I took the sweets that she made along with the plates. I said yes, and she got very aggressive. She wanted to keep the leftovers in the break room for others that hadn't been able to attend the party. Nowhere did she say this was just for me. She also said she needed the platter back because she was making a birthday cake for her niece. My partner and I both agreed it was wrong for her to text me like that, and since it was my party and I wanted the leftovers, I deserved them. But she thinks I should apologize to keep the peace. I don't see the point of apologizing if I'm not wrong. There's an update to the story. Here we go. Stop saying I forced my partner to contact my coworker. That was his decision, and I never implied I approved or wanted him to do that. I try to make my employees feel special and celebrate their achievements. I had higher expectations of them than I should have. That was my mistake. All right, let's take a close look at what Reddit commenters had to say. A lot of people felt that the original poster was wrong for taking everything home without asking. Some said it was inconsiderate, especially since the coworker had plans for the plates. One comment read, "It's a basic office courtesy to leave the leftovers for everyone. Don't just take everything for yourself." A few people thought the coworker overreacted. They said it wasn't a big deal and that the original poster had the right to take the food home. But this was definitely a minority group. As one person said, it's just leftovers. Why make a huge deal out of it? Some felt that the poster was unaware of office culture, especially since she was about to become a manager. They warned, this kind of behavior can damage your reputation. Taking a Tupperware, big mistake when you're about to lead a team. And here's the opinion of Reddit. Around 75% of the comments agreed that the actions were inconsiderate and unprofessional. Only 25% thought the coworker was being too harsh about the Tupperware. What do you think? Should she have left the leftovers or taken them home? Let us know in the comments below. Do you like this content? Subscribe. This is a story of how one worker stood their ground despite heavy pressure from coworkers. Let's get into it. Am I the asshole for refusing to give up my vacation days so my coworker can go on her honeymoon? I work at a small company where vacation time is limited and requests must be made months in advance. I submitted mine almost a year ago for a 2-week vacation during the holidays to visit family who's abroad, which is a trip I rarely get to make. Recently, a coworker who's getting married asked me to give up my vacation days so that she can go on her honeymoon. She hadn't realized how quickly the schedule would fill up and missed her chance to request the time off. Since I booked the longest block, she came to me first. I apologized, but I explained, I can't give up my trip since it's the only chance I have to see my family this year. She accused me of being selfish and for not accommodating her once-in-a-lifetime event. Now, other coworkers are pressuring me, claiming that I should be more flexible because I don't have any special circumstances, such as a wedding. I feel bad, but I planned this trip far in advance, and it's deeply important to me. Am I the bad guy for not giving up my vacation? Alright, let's see what Reddit commenters had to say. The most common feedback was that the coworker should have planned her honeymoon earlier. One person said, procrastination on your part does not make it an emergency on mine. It seems most people feel that the worker should not have been expected to give up her time. There was also a lot of support for the worker's family trip, which was an important event. A 2-week vacation to see family abroad is a special circumstance, one comment said. But not everyone agreed. A small group said the worker could have been a bit more flexible for the honeymoon. One comment mentioned, a honeymoon should come first. Well, here's the breakdown of the opinions. 85% of people said the worker did the right thing by not giving up her vacation. They argued it's unfair to ask her to cancel. Only about 15% thought that she could have been a bit more flexible. What do you think? Would you give up your vacation? Let us know in the comments below. Here's the story. I'm one of the good white people. I'm a 32-year-old male, white, and potentially in trouble at work. Though I don't feel I deserve it. My new coworker Anna, a 23-year-old woman of Asian descent, recently joined our office. She brings lunch on days when there's no food truck. On Thursday, she heated a homemade stir-fry in our shared microwave, and it smelled amazing. I complimented her on it and asked about the recipe. She mentioned it was a mix of ingredients to avoid waste. While telling people how good it smelled, I also mentioned that some people might find it too smelly or ethnic, referring to how people can be biased against ethnic foods. I'd read stories about microaggressions in similar situations, and I wanted to warn her so she wouldn't face that kind of treatment. I emphasized that I thought it smelled good. After she left the room, a few coworkers commented it was inappropriate for me to bring that up. I explained my intention, saying that the food from different cultures is sometimes unfairly judged or mocked, and I thought avoiding it could help her avoid harassment. One coworker said I was the one making it an issue, since she'd only started last week and hadn't had the time to be harassed. I was just trying to help her feel welcome, even if some people at the office might be biased. I didn't think much of it until the next morning when I heard that Anna had spoken to HR and she felt hurt by our conversation. I was frustrated she hadn't talked to me first, since I was just trying to look out for her. She seemed to avoid me today, which was sad. I genuinely wanted to be a friend, especially since this was one of her first jobs after undergrad. But now, coworkers think I'm a racist, even though I try hard to be an ally. I just didn't want her to experience negativity. There's an edit on this story, which goes, I get it, I'm the asshole. What I said was misguided. I remember starting my career and dealing with unkind people, and I didn't want her to go through that. But I ended up being like the people who made my early career miserable. I plan to apologize to her in a professional way on Tuesday, and hope she doesn't quit or that I don't get fired. Thank you all for helping me see things more clearly. Alright, let's take a look at what the Reddit commenters had to say. Most commenters agree that his intentions do not excuse the impact of his words. One person summed it up perfectly. Even if you mean well, what you say still matters. Others pointed out that calling her food ethnic, and suggesting it might be a problem only made things worse. A lot of people said that he was the one bringing bias into the situation, not protecting her from it. On the other hand, another group of people understood where he was coming from, but they still thought he handled it quite poorly. And now, drumroll please, let's reveal the opinion of the internet. 85% of people say that he was wrong, and his comment was completely inappropriate. 15% of people said he meant well, but he still made a mistake. That makes a full 100% of people who thought he's the asshole. The majority thinks he should have just complimented her food and left it at that. You have a different opinion? Please let us know in the comments below. Today, I f***ed up by making a girl I like laugh so hard, she ended up in the hospital. And I almost lost my job. So there's this girl I like at work, and we're good friends. We're having a lunch and making ironic depression meme jokes, as friends do. For some reason, in my annoyingly stupid way to get her to laugh, I said, well, hey, you know what's just one letter away from sad? Dab. And promptly did the deed. Also, I can cry on demand, so I just stared at her with a stone face and let 2 tears fall. She finds it hilarious. So funny, in fact, she drops to the floor, laughing her ass off. After about 30 seconds, she starts grabbing her chest and coughing. I ask if she's okay, and she begins wheezing and convulsing a bit. Freaking out, I think she's having a damn seizure, so I start reaching for my phone. At that exact moment, my manager randomly walks in. He sees me, a big guy, towering over the poor girl on the floor. I manage to cut off her impending rage by saying, I think she's having a seizure and that I'm calling 911. Fortunately, I was able to explain the situation after the ambulance arrived. Turns out she has asthma, and my joke caused a flare-up. She was waving her arms, trying to tell me to get her inhaler. Whoops. Here's some updates to the story. Hey y'all, remember me? Yesterday I made a post about almost killing a girl by making her laugh too hard, which caused an asthma flare-up. Well, thanks to the incredible support from the Reddit community, I got hundreds of messages urging me to go for it. I asked her out, and guess what? After promising it likely wouldn't result in another hospital trip, she said yes. We're going out this Friday for dinner. I know some people warned me about dating people at work, but after what happened, I think I'm kind of obligated by the universe to go for it. Thanks for giving me the courage to do it. I was gonna flake out, so remember, ladies and gents, if you ever have a crush on someone, just dab on them. If it works for the haters, it'll work with the lovers. There's a last edit here. Thanks for all the awesome support, guys. Just for the hell of it, I'll be posting updates on how it goes on Date from a Dab, if you're interested. All right, let's look at what the Reddit comments had to say. One commenter shared, my partner had to ban a game that I used to play with her daughter because it made both of us laugh so hard, we each had asthma attacks. Someone nearly died reading the story and said, I laughed so hard, I choked on my food. Some commenters warned about joking too much. They shared, be careful with humor at work. It can get out of control quickly. According to commenters, is the original poster right or wrong? The majority, about 85%, thought the whole thing was hilarious and could not stop laughing. However, 10% of people felt the humor went too far and warned against joking like that in the workplace. 5% of people were a little more concerned with the idea of dating coworkers, even though the story ended on a positive note. What do you think of the story? Did he do right? Did he do wrong? What would you have done? Do you have any coworker who's always on track, never stresses out, and manages everything perfectly? Well, here's a story for you. My coworker is a totally normal person, and he fascinates me. My coworker fascinates me. He has no mental health issues, like most people I know. He's not on any medication, and he's physically healthy. I've had to explain my panic attacks, my anxiety, and my medication to him because he's never experienced or heard of them. Everyone that I know seems like a mess. And the contrast between them, myself, and him is just striking. It's like he's a machine. Some other things of note, he's never late, doesn't oversleep, and he sleeps well. He doesn't have any meltdowns, never has any shutdowns, no allergies, no food sensitivities, at least none that he knows of. He works out daily, either at home or at the gym, has no chronic health issues at all. He doesn't get stuck or freeze at any time. He doesn't have any issues while driving, he knows where he's going without his phone, detours do not bother him. When things fall apart, he adapts and just moves on. He can talk to anyone casually. When a big decision needs to be made, he just makes it. He follows through with what he says he'll do. He solves problems without Googling. He just knows the answers. He doesn't feel the need to keep his phone on him like we do all day. He doesn't use or even care about social media at all. Now, let's see what Reddit commenters had to say in the comments. A lot of people were feeling a bit jealous, but also inspired. One commenter said, "Let it fuel you to become the person you want to be." Some people think that this calm coworker is just really good at hiding any struggles. One user said, "Some people just don't have that level to reflect on the past or take on those emotions." Others expressed how different their own lives felt in comparison. One person commented, "It's like he's living life on easy mode." Here's the breakdown of results. 85% of comments agreed that people like this coworker are just better at managing life's challenges. They seem to handle everything with ease and confidence, which motivated many viewers to want to live more like him. A smaller group, around 25%, think that this coworker is hiding some deeper struggles, or he's just really good at keeping them hidden. It's a split opinion, but still a valid one. What do you think? Is he hiding something, or is he just Mr. Perfection? Behind this card is one of the most awkward wedding stories on all of Reddit. Here's someone on Reddit asking, "Am I the asshole for telling my wife she shouldn't attend a family wedding if I'm not invited?" Here we go. Last weekend, my 34-year-old wife received an invitation to her eldest sister's wedding. The invitation states that she and our 3 children are invited, with no mention of me. 4 seats have been set aside for the wife and 3 children. I felt insulted and thought my wife would agree that it was rude. However, after she spoke to her mother to clarify, she decided to still attend. I told her it wouldn't be fair to go without me and that I didn't allow our children to go without their father. She argued I was being unreasonable since her nieces and nephews would be there, making it a meaningful family event. My point is that if it's so important for the whole family to attend, I should have been invited. If not, it can't be that important and she shouldn't go. Who's the asshole here? It's been edited later on to say, "Okay, I get it, I'm in the wrong. I let my kids go and everyone can stop harassing me about old mistakes I've already repented for." Let's see what Reddit has to say. Support for the husband's side. A lot of viewers felt like the invitation was disrespectful. One person said, "If it's a family event, everyone in the family should be invited. The husband's feelings are valid." Others believed the wife was right to go since the wedding was a big family affair. One commenter wrote, "It's not about excluding anyone, it's about keeping family connections strong." Except the husband, apparently. Some defended his feelings about being hurt, while others thought that he was making a bigger deal out of it than necessary. One comment read, "If it was really that important, they would have invited him too." All right, let's reveal what Reddit has to say. 70% of the comments are on the husband's side. They agree he should have been invited if the family is so important to the event. However, 30% believe the wife made the right call to attend, especially giving her family connections and reasoning. Now, what's interesting is the mixed opinions. While most agree with the husband's point about fairness, a solid portion feels that there's more to the story. Maybe the wife was just trying to maintain peace in a tense family situation. This one's all about finding balance and understanding. It's a tricky situation, and we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "Meow." Here's the story. I was having a casual morning, nothing special, and went to work, saying my good mornings and hellos as usual. Never had any weird situation occur in over 2 years, until yesterday. I walked in and said hello to one of the coworkers. She was female, and she looked at me dead in the eye and said, "Meow." Now I'm standing there like, what do I say? There's this awkward silence and the lady is still looking at me, waiting for a response. Everyone else is busy, so I'm 90% sure they didn't hear the meow. So I did the only logical thing any normal human would do. I meowed the heck back while staring her dead in the eye. The only problem was, my meow was about 10 times louder. So most of the office floor looked at me, saw me staring at a coworker, dead in the eyes, meowing. I'm not sure what they thought, but no one spoke to me for the rest of the day. What a day. Here's an update to the story. So, one of you did me dirty. I was already feeling skeptical because the post had blown up bigger than I thought. Anyway, I go to work a bit nervous. I walk inside, and everyone usually says hi, hello, etc. But everyone's minding their own business. Not a single person says anything. I'm thinking I'll quickly get over to my desk, as I'm looking for the meowing coworker secretly, but I can't find her anymore. Just wanted to see if there was any awkwardness, but she's nowhere to be found. I thought that was a bit weird, but I walked over to my desk and I kid you not, someone put catnip on my desk and left a paper with a screenshot of this comment. I don't know why, but I got this bad feeling someone from work has read my post. What the actual f***? Someone I work with was definitely on this thread. I can't tell who it is, but I feel like everyone was looking at me and then looking away. Like the whole office knows, but there's no one saying anything. The whole day went by and I didn't hear anything from anyone. Now, out of all these people, how am I going to find that person? And if the meowing coworker is reading this, I wanted to woof at you today. Just kidding. But where are you? For real. All right, that was the story. Let's look at what Reddit commenters had to say. Most people seem to think meowing back was the right move. They say, you did the right thing. Many fans thought it was the perfect response to a unique situation. A few people went all in with their advice. One commenter said, you should have brushed up against her legs like a cat. Another suggested going full-on aggressive with a hiss and a swipe. Some share their own meowing experiences. I meow sometimes too, no idea why, but it happens. It's kind of a weird moment, but apparently not so rare. And now, let's reveal the opinion of the internet. Let's break it down. 80% of people supported the poster's decision to meow back. After all, if you're gonna get meowed at, you might as well do it back. Only 15% of people thought he could have gone even more extreme and brushed up against the coworker like a cat or even hissed. And surprisingly, 5% of people felt he should have ignored it and walked away. Alright, so it's pretty clear the majority of people thought he did okay by meowing back. The real fun is in how people thought he could have gone even further. What would you have done? Please let us know in the comments below. This story started as a harmless joke, but it spiraled completely out of control, so you will not want to miss what I'm about to read. I've been telling people at work that I'm a Leo, which I'm actually not, in an attempt to create a long con prank to prove to them that astrology is utter bullshit. But my plan is getting out of hand, and I don't think I can follow through on my big reveal. I think astrology is one of the dumbest, most unscientific things you could believe in. Honestly, I would judge someone less for believing the earth is flat or for being a Scientologist. At least Scientology has an established lore written by a limited number of people, while anyone can write a horoscope for any small town newspaper and people still follow their local little blurb's advice. Anyway, there's a group of coworkers at my job that are really into astrology. They're always talking about signs, compatibility, it didn't work out because he's a Gemini, etc. Sometimes they talk about people at work and their personality traits based on their signs. When they asked me, I told them a fake birthday without knowing the sign associated with it. Turns out, I'm a Leo. They practically fell all over themselves saying how much sense it made. You have such a creative spirit, you're so generous, or my favorite, you're so vital. We're all pretty friendly, so I thought it would be funny to reveal later that I'm not a Leo at all and see how they'd react. Unfortunately, one of my bosses believes being a Leo makes me uniquely suited for various projects, and I've landed some good opportunities because of it. After a presentation to the client, I was told that my Leo spirit helped the team through a tough deadline. Now, I'm genuinely worried someone will figure out my real birthday, since I work for a big company, and there's a chance some auto-generated email or post is going to congratulate the October birthdays. I'm stuck in a lie based on nonsense, and I'm not sure what to do. I'll probably never tell anyone at work, so I figured I'd tell strangers online in the hopes I don't get found out and face some weird disciplinary action. Imagine my boss firing me for pretending to be a Leo. That's such a Pisces thing to do. This story has a few edits. Here's number 1. I'm absolutely loving people saying that's such a Libra thing to do. It's just like a Libra to get into situations like this. I said I was born in October, but didn't specify the date. I'm not a Libra either. Edit number 2. People defending astrology by explaining the celestial movements. That's not the convincing argument you think it is. Edit number 3. Kidding, I am a Libra. So all those people saying that's so Scorpio, you're the ones that are in the wrong. Or is that what a Scorpio would say to throw you off the trail? Who knows? So maybe this is all an elaborate thought experiment. That's so Libra of me. Or is pretending I'm a Libra the Scorpio move? Alright, let's take a look at what Reddit commenters had to say. Here's the first one. A lot of people could not believe how astrology was affecting work decisions. One user said, "Your boss gives you work opportunities based on your star sign? What kind of an unprofessional workplace do you work at?" Others could not stop laughing and they made hilarious comparisons to Seinfeld. Someone wrote, "This is a Seinfeld episode and this is George." That's just spot on. Number 3, a few commenters reflected on the situation seriously. One even said, the boss knows that the OP, or original poster, lied about their sign and is pranking them back. It's a very interesting turn of events. And now, let's reveal the opinion of the internet. About 80% of the people thought the whole situation was hilarious and crazy. They saw it as a funny and relatable office moment. However, 15% were a bit concerned, thinking it was unprofessional to let astrology influence work decisions.